Welcome and thank you, past and future Engaging Girls in STEM exhibitors. I'm Anthony Kwan. I'm with the LA County Office of Education. I am the STEM coordinator here in the Division of Curriculum Instructional Services. This video is being provided to you as a clarification as well as information regarding expectations and how you may want to proceed with participation in this year's Engaging Girls in STEM event. Our objectives are threefold. Essentially, we want to provide girls here in LA County opportunities and experiences to create enthusiasm as well as curiosity about what that STEM career might look like. We also want to provide access to resources around these STEM related careers. And some of those resources are coming from you in the form of play or in the form of activities that you might think about delivering in a virtual environment. But we also have other opportunities for you to participate as well in terms of some of the types of delivery that we would like for you to consider. I'd like to go ahead and start here and provide you with some of the historical pieces of how we actually got to this year's programming. So in the past, over the last 4 years, it was really on a much smaller scale, starting with first 120 students, targeting fourth grade to 12th grade. And then after that, a year of learning, we stuck to sixth grade through 12th grade, and then consecutively been able to expand it, but then cap it at 350 students. Now, for those of you who are not aware of how big LA County is in terms of educational systems here, LA County is home to 80 school districts, 350 plus private 350 plus charter schools, 150 plus private and parochial schools. That is who I provide service to in my capacity here with the County Office of Education. But we also provide services to our higher institutions of education. So the UC, CSUs, JC, junior colleges, community colleges, etc., as well as partnering with many of our informal institutions in LA County as well. That includes the zoos, aquariums, and museums. As I said, the objective is really for the girls and to create experiences and opportunities to engage in what a STEM career might look like. Some of our deliverables have always been to provide them with access to real life female mentors or models in the form of STEM ambassadors. This is where you come in, where you help create those opportunities and experiences through hands-on activities, through some of your work and things that you have been able to create. This year's programming, we also would like to offer opportunities for teachers, administrators, potentially even parents as well, if you so choose to, and create opportunities for them to support students. But more importantly, we would love for them to see how we do things and potentially replicate it back at their own school sites or district as well. Our ambassadors often come back and it's because of the platform that we give them to connect and give back. And for you, this is a way for you to create or increase your partnership and networking opportunities as well. So in the past, our Engaging Girls in STEM took one day and literally in about 6 to 8 hours. But again, with the pandemic, we have taken the advantage in leveraging the use of virtual platforms and decided to go ahead and try out expanding this program to 3.5 months. So starting mid-February and then ending in the end of May of 2021. So one of the major changes, especially for those exhibitors who've been with us in the past, one of the major changes is that during these 3.5 months, each month will have a specific theme. So here in the slides, as you can see, February is empowerment. The future is yours for the taking. March is collaboration. It takes a team to change the world. April is creativity and innovations. Out of the box thinking leads to new ideas. And then ending in May with exploration, daring to go where no one has gone before. Each month is also tied to existing events or initiatives that are taking place either locally, regionally, statewide, or nationally, such as the International Day of Women and Girls in STEM, Women's History Month, International Science and Engineering Fairs, Science Olympiad competitions, et cetera, et cetera. There are lots of opportunities for you to tie in an activity to your activities to either one of these types of events or to the theme itself. Your primary audience are going to be girls in grades 3 through 12th grade. But again, because of the virtual aspect, we could potentially have the secondary audience or create the experiences for the secondary audience targeting girls in K through 2, teachers, administrators, or coaches. So maybe you want to deliver professional development. Maybe you want to provide some information for administrators. Maybe you want to do something for the parents, create and show them what resources you have to support their own kids. But you can also see that you may also create some opportunities that are not just geared at girls, but also for boys as well. So we've got lots of different opportunities, and we're going to go ahead and talk about them right now. Please remember that our goal for the Engaging Girls in STEM program are opportunities and experiences. So that is the #1 goal for us, and we would love for you to also remember as well. So in order for you to really think about this, this is again an internal question for you and your organization in terms of what is it that you want to offer? Is it going to be something that's hands-on? Is it a tour of facilities? Is it going to be around resources? Maybe it's a speaker series. Who's your target audience? Is it going to be one of these focus groups, or is it going to be a combination of things? Regardless of what you decide to choose, one thing again that we want to emphasize is that we want you to make this as interactive as possible. So interactive doesn't necessarily mean it has to be hands-on as much as you need to engage with students as well. In this case, you may, if you decide to do a program for a classroom setting, you definitely want to make sure you engage with the students. If it's going to be done after school with individual students registering, so it's not a whole class, but it's going to be a mishmash of students coming from who knows where, all in one little video platform, that's also going to be up to you as well. Other things that you are going to need to think about with your organization is the delivery of the format. Is it going to be live or is it going to be pre-recorded? As far as the length of time, you essentially still have the freedom for that. What we recommend is this range of maybe 30 minutes to 120 minutes. So anywhere between half an hour to 2 hours. And again, depending on the age, you really do need to think about that 2 hour or going beyond that 2 hours because it's long even for adults. And I've been delivering a lot of online, so I have experienced that myself. Some of the things that we are also asking you to do as you think about your programming is that whatever presentation you create, if you can also include our logos, the LA County Office of Education logo, the Engaging Girls in STEM event logo. Please mention that you are collaborating with us in any flyers that you might want to create. We want you to try as much as you can, try to avoid sales pitches in your presentations. Again, thinking about who your audience is. Now, if it is an audience of principals, yeah. If it's kids though, that sales pitch probably would fall flat at that point. Logistics is going to be very important here as well. So registration, this is going to be a key important talk for your organization because we're not going to be responsible for the registration. We are going to be putting on events ourselves. And what we hope is that the Engaging Girls in STEM program is a hub of the information and potential activities and resources that can be shared out throughout LA County. So again, remember, LA County is home to 33% of the entire student population of California. So that's roughly about 1.9 million kids that we are hitting potentially. And also, because this is a virtual event, there is a possibility that we could be going outside, or you would be hosting people outside of LA County, potentially even outside the state of California. So that is going to be a question for you to think about, because how are you going to create the registration? What platform will you use to deliver your presentation with? If when thinking about that registration, uh, you may also want to consider a cap, because again, we don't know what the numbers of what the interest is going to be like come February when we launch this. But we do hope that in February, it's small, but we hope that it will gain traction, and then we'll have a larger audience in March, much larger audience in April, and then a huge audience when it comes to May. So that's kind of some of the thinking that we have here. As far as the registration, we know that Zoom does have registrations here, and so has a registration component in their system. WebEx probably, I don't think, doesn't, but you may want to use a Google form for that, creating that registration. As far as who should register, this is something that you should also think about. As far as the considerations, I think the practice has, as I've seen it, when I've seen other registrations that students can fill out, they have to be at least 13 years of age, if not older. If your company is not comfortable with that age range, then go ahead and up it. So if you're comfortable with a student who's 16 and registering, then go ahead and make sure you include that language of, if you are 15 years and younger, please have your parent or teacher or uh, uh, the parent, the adult who's taking care of you, to register you. So we definitely want to make sure that safety is the huge concern for all of our students. The other consideration is that when you do host these events, to avoid the whole showing students' faces and everything, maybe you just turn the videos off, unless, of course, you have a parent permission slip or something that's also embedded in that registration form. Now, knowing informal education institutes, so the zoos, aquariums, etc., we know that they have experiences with this, so they probably have a system where it's okay. Once they have the students registered, then they can have full interaction with students with their videos on, etc. But if you aren't comfortable with that, then again, just have the students turn off their videos, and then have them interact with you via the chat box or something. Now, there's also going to be a difference here too. So if you're designing a program that's done during the so-called school day, it's for a whole class, that's a whole different story. But that's something that you will also need to ensure you include in your descriptions as well. So is the program designed to be delivered during class time versus something that will be done for an individual student, so it takes place after school? Again, if you do something that's after school, what we are imagining is that maybe the programming that you have, or the event or activity that you create, is something that a teacher could potentially assign as a homework assignment. And so if it's a homework assignment, how will you be able to provide proof of attendance for that particular student? So that's something that you may also want to consider. Again, when we were holding these events live, we didn't really have to think about all these, but because this is a virtual platform, again, safety is our concern for students, but more importantly, it is also the accountability that we also have to think about as well. More internal discussion. So how does your event tie into the monthly theme? So again, this is very important to us. Whatever event or activity you create, we want you to try to tie it into that theme as much as you're able to. Even if it's just addressing it, that would be fine to us. Also, as far as the offerings, is this something that you are going to be able to offer more than once, so multiple days. You might want to consider doing it on a weekend. So maybe it's something that you want to offer up to not just the students, but their parents as well. Again, are you offering it only during school hours? So it's a whole class program, or is it going to be done something that's after school? And right now we're noticing that as far as after school, it's usually around after 3 p.m. As far as the resources that you are sharing or potentially providing for your audience, if they're teacher, parents, et cetera, again, think about the accessibility. How will it be easily available to all of these folks as well? As far as the presentations goes, it's not necessary to have a formalized presentation with via PowerPoint, but that is up to you. But if you like the slide deck that I have, I will be making this available to you as well. Again, in your presentation, we would love for you to, again, in good faith, use our logos along with yours. As far as the facilitators, so you will be getting a second Google form, and we want to ensure that the facilitators are definitely who they say they are, and that they are also working with you. So in the Google form, we'll be asking not just the point of contact, but who the facilitators are as well. If you're recording these, think about how you're going to be recording it, whether or not you plan to include the students' faces or not. And if you do have students' faces, will you have permission for that? So again, you want to think about that. If you already have canned programs, so that means you've already done some pre-recorded materials, that can be it. So that means that you don't have to actually do anything as much as fill out the Google form, let us know that it's a pre-recorded event. Again, the description, how will it be released in terms of how will students be able to register? Does it require registration, or can they just go ahead and then click on the link and then just watch it? So that's something that you may also want to think about. So again, that's kind of the ease of the pre-record, is that it's ready-made, it's readily available. The one caveat about pre-record is that how do you ensure that there is enough interaction for students to really take something away from that? So again, what is that experience or opportunity as a result of that pre-recorded video? Timing, again, we'll go back to that idea of timing, but maybe you have something that, again, has been pre-made, and maybe you might want to develop it, or maybe rethink how it was used or created. But maybe if it's something that's a series, maybe it can be broken up into a series of chunks or bites, 15-minute bites, and that can be done on a weekly basis or something like that. Again, is it a whole class program, or is it going to be done after school or beyond the bell? Repetition of active engagement. And if you are doing something with students and teachers or parents are watching, we do want you to also consider how you could potentially model those questioning skills, but also maybe provide those tips and tools for the teachers and parents as well. So again, if it's something that you are providing in terms of resource, and how will these teachers potentially recreate those experiences in the virtual class, in their own virtual classroom as well. As a reminder, we've noticed that, again, 45 minutes is kind of a good time to shoot for, especially for the younger kids. Now, the younger the kids are, then you may have to also decrease that amount of time. But again, the timing is up to you and your organization. As far as other supports, we are considering asking you to also maybe provide a short video clip talking about your event that you would like to provide for students, 2 to 3 minutes. And then in the Google form, the second finalized Google form that will confirm your participation, because you'll be sending us the activities or events that you would like to offer. There'll also be an opportunity there to submit your logo so that we can also include that in the program book. So that program book is now available online, and we will be updating that as we need to. So again, the final Google form will be sent to you. And when we send this final Google form, we'll also send to you this recording, the PowerPoint to this, a blank PowerPoint to the slide deck, and our logos as well. So you'll have access to the LEGO logo as well as the Engaging Girls in STEM logo. Again, with the presentations of your event or activities, we want you to definitely be innovative as you can, because again, we want students to have a positive experience. We want them to have opportunities to really engage in what a potential STEM career might be like for them. And if you have any questions, please continue to contact me as you need to. So there's my contact information, including my phone number. And then serving on the advisory committee with me is Angelica Ruiz from the Columbia Memorial Space Center, also known as the Downey Space Center, and Rachel Fiedler from the Natural History Museum in LA. So should you still need to bounce ideas off of others and you need our assistance, feel free to reach out and we'll try to help you work through and think through the ideas that you have. Other than that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your time. And again, I thank you for your consideration in partnering with us in the Engaging Girls in STEM event. Thank you.